Picture the tundra of Ice Age Europe, roughly 20,000 years ago. The sky darkens in minutes, wind screams across open ground, and visibility drops to almost nothing. This is the kind of sudden blizzard that early human bands living near the edge of the great ice sheets had to be ready for at any moment. It's tempting to imagine these storms as isolated moments of crisis, but for the people who lived there, they were a recurring fact of life, and surviving them depended on preparation made long before the first snowflake fell. The Ice Age wasn't one endless winter. It was a patchwork of tundra, steppe, and shrub grassland, cold but livable, home to mammoths, woolly rhinos, and reindeer that people hunted for food, fuel, and clothing. Human groups in this environment were highly mobile, but they weren't wandering blindly. They knew the land, tracked seasonal weather patterns, and read subtle signs, shifting winds, animal behavior, changes in cloud cover that warned a serious storm was approaching. Anthropologists studying Arctic and subarctic peoples today see similar skills suggesting this kind of environmental literacy stretches. Suggesting this kind of environmental literacy, stretch Rax Devry, shelter was the first line of defense, and it had to be built before the storm arrived, not during it. Archaeological sites like those at Mzidish in Ukraine reveal dwellings built from mammoth bones and tusks, layered with hides and packed with earth or snow for insulation. Snow itself, counterintuitively, is an excellent insulator. A well-built shelter banked with it could stay far warmer inside than the raging wind outside. These weren't improvised huts thrown together in a panic. They were engineered structures, reinforced and maintained, because a shelter that failed partway through a blizzard could mean the difference between life and death. Clothing mattered just as much as shelter. Evidence from bone needles found at sites across Ice Age Europe shows that people were sewing fitted, layered garments, not simply draping loose hides over their shoulders. Tailored clothing trapped body heat far more effectively, covering extremities like hands and feet that lose warmth fastest. Fur linings, sometimes from wolves or foxes, added extra insulation. This kind of clothing technology was so effective that some researchers argue it was essential for humans to survive as far north as they did. Without it, the coldest blizzards would have been simply unsurvivable. Fire was the third essential pillar. Groups caught by a storm needed a fuel supply already gathered, wood where available, but often dried dung, bone grease, or fat-soaked material in treeless tundra regions. Keeping a fire alive inside a shelter during a blizzard required constant tending and careful ventilation, since the same walls that kept out the wind could trap dangerous smoke. Fire did more than provide warmth. It cooked food, boiled water, and gave people something to focus on together, which mattered when a storm might trap a group for days rather than hours. Surviving a blizzard was also a social operation, not just a technical one. Groups typically clustered together in the largest available shelter, sharing warmth body to body, a strategy still used in survival situations today. Roles were often divided, some tending fire, others rationing stored food, others calming children or the injured. Elders who remembered past storms could offer guidance on how long supplies needed to last. Cooperation reduced the physical and psychological toll of being confined in a small space for an extended, uncertain length of time. See me test any Sive in EME 2. Food storage was the quiet hero of blizzard survival. Long before a storm hit, successful groups preserved meat by freezing it in natural cold stores, drying it, or packing it in thatch to slow spoilage. This meant that even if hunting was impossible for several days, the group wasn't relying on a single lucky kill. Archaeological deposits of butchered mammoth and reindeer bones, sometimes stacked or cached, hint at deliberate stockpiling strategies, a form of forward planning that reveals just how far human foresight extended beyond the moment of immediate need. When the storm finally passed, survival wasn't guaranteed to be over. Groups faced snow-blocked entrances, depleted fuel, and a landscape transformed enough that familiar landmarks and trails might vanish. Digging out, reassessing supplies, and cautiously resuming hunts and travel were their own skills. The fact that human populations persisted across thousands of years of these cyclical extreme storms tells us something important. Survival wasn't about heroic luck in a single dramatic night. It was the product of accumulated knowledge, engineering, cooperation, and preparation. The quiet, practical genius that let people thrive in one of the harshest environments our species has ever called home.